A car that travels 20 miles in 1/2 hour at constant speed is traveling at the same speed as a car that travels 30 miles in 3 1/4 hour at a constant speed. Explain or show why. So the first thing that we need to know to solve a problem like this is that to compare two separate ratios, which we're saying the 20 miles to 1/2 hour and 30 miles to 3/4 of an hour. To compare two separate ratios, we need one common quantity. And what I mean by quantity is just one of those numbers in the ratio. So they're both comparing miles and hours. So I'll write out the two ratios so I can talk about what we need to do here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one common quantity here by taking our first ratio of 20 to 1/2 and try and make the 1/2 into 3/4 while keeping it an equivalent ratio to this blue one here. So on this right side here, I'll start off by writing 20 to 1/2. And I have this diagram up here just to remind us that 1/4 is just 1/2 of 1/2. So if I were going to divide this by 2 or multiply it by 1/2 to take half of it, I would get 1/4 because I know 1/4 is half of 1/2. Now I'm going to divide this by 2 to keep it an equivalent ratio here. So 20 divided by 2 is 10. Now that I have this as 1/4 here, I'm going to try and get this to be the same as our other ratio, which is 3/4. So to do that, I know that I'm going to be multiplying by 3 here. And to keep this an equivalent ratio, I'm going to multiply this by 3 as well. And we see if we have an equivalent ratio here is 30 to 3/4, then both of these cars are going at the same speed.